Okay, go.
I am sure that many of you have dealt with the overly hyper child at one time or another, and I know I have. And typically, the blame gets put on caffeine or sugar. We hear that quite often. As a new mother and someone who is expecting my second child, I know that from the beginning of my pregnancy that my caretakers, my healthcare workers have always warned me about caffeine while I'm pregnant. While I may not be an expert on caffeine, I know that my sources that I've used in this speech are. I've used quite a few authors that have written books on the subject and also a website. Caffeine is classified as a drug, and while the addictive effects and withdrawals are very real and can be very dangerous, especially for children. I will be presenting information about the history of caffeine, where it originated, and how it gets in our foods and beverages. I will also talk about some of the common effects of consuming too much, as well as some of the benefits of consuming it in moderation. I will also discuss the danger it presents for our children, even in small amounts. In the book, The Truth About Caffeine by Marina Kushner, she talks about an Ethiopian goat herder named Kaldi who discovered goats dancing around after eating berries. Kaldi tried these berries and discovered that they gave him more energy. That is where they originally thought that caffeine got its discovery from. But caffeine was not officially discovered until 1819 by a man named Friedrich Ferdinand Runge in Germany, when he was given coffee beans and asked to analyze the contents. A few months later, he successfully extracted the caffeine from the beans. And that is found in the book, The World of Caffeine by Alan Weinberg. According to Lori Klosterman in Drugs, The Facts About Caffeine, natural caffeine is found in different plants such as coffee, tea, cola, cacao, and it is also found in guarana and maple, which is commonly found in energy drinks. Caffeine gets into soda and energy drinks such as Mountain Dew by extracting it from the coffee beans. This is according to Marina Kushner. Now that we know how caffeine was discovered, how it gets into our food chain, let's explore some of the positive and negative things that make it a drug. Even though caffeine has a bad rap, there are a couple positive things about it. Marina Kushner says that caffeine helps people with asthma, that it helps to open up their airways to help them breathe better. There's also studies have shown that caffeine consumption can also reduce the chances of getting Parkinson's disease by 80%. As found in a website called Caffeine Health Benefits and Health Risks. We all know that the biggest benefit of caffeine is that it increases alertness and gives us energy when we are tired. The book Caffeine Blues by Stephen Chernisky tells us that one of the negative side effects of caffeine is that it robs the body of specific minerals such as iron and calcium. Both of these minerals are very important to people all across the age spectrum. These side effects, both good and bad, are things that can kill a person instantly, are things that will not kill a person instantly unless they are consumed in large amounts in a short period of time. However, over a long period of time, the effects can be devastating. Also, as a new mom, I know that my medical providers caution me about consuming caffeine not only while I'm pregnant, but also while nursing my son. According to Mr. Chernisky, caffeine consumption during pregnancy can cause low birth weight. And if you consume pregnancy while you're pregnant, your unborn child will also get that caffeine. Elimination halftime is the amount of time it takes for a person to eliminate half the caffeine in your body. For premature infants, it takes 3 to 5 days for that infant to eliminate that from their body. So basically, if you consume caffeine right before you give birth, it's going to take that infant that long to get that caffeine out of their body. For a neonate infant, which is an infant that is born with issues or health problems, it can take 3 days, 10 hours to eliminate that caffeine from their body. And that's just half the caffeine. That's not all of the caffeine. In a child, it takes 14.4 hours to eliminate the caffeine, half the caffeine from their body. So if you give your child a Mountain Dew and they think that, oh, well, it's not that much, but it takes them that long just to get rid of it. But for an adult, it only takes 3 to 7.5 hours to eliminate the caffeine, half the caffeine. The final piece of information that I want to give you is just different amounts of caffeine that are in different beverages that we drink. The one that surprised me the most was that there is some caffeine in Barq's root beer, which typically, if we, a lot of us think of root beer as caffeine free, but this particular brand does have caffeine in it. So, and it tells you just that you need to read your labels. And then finally, most people would not consider giving their children an alcoholic beverage or even a cigarette, because just because it's legal for adults doesn't mean that it's legal or healthy for our children. And then caffeine is classified as a drug, and the addictive effects and withdrawals are very real and can be very dangerous to children. In review, I told you a little about the history of caffeine, as well as some of the positive and negative side effects and how these affect our children. I hope this information gives you some insight when it comes to the beverages we give our children. Thank you for your time and listening to my information.